Just one night by train east of Moscow brings you to a city lost in the forest, a Russian blend of Florence and Venice. The city called Yoshkar-Ola translates to Red City from the Mari language. I was born here and spent my childhood here, but most of my adult life has been in southern Russia. When I visited after a long absence, I didn't recognize it. The city center had changed beyond recognition. If I had been teleported directly into the city center, I would have thought I had lost my mind. How do you react if a town lost in the forest of Russia suddenly had to the Kremlin, Belgian houses on the Bruges waterfront, and monuments to Lorenzo de' Medici, Grace Kelly, and Prince Rainier III of Monaco? This transformation is the work of a very peculiar man, Leonid Markelov, the former president of the Republic of Surreal, whose capital is Yoshkar-Ola. Initially, Markelov was an ordinary regional leader, but something changed. Copies of various historical buildings began to appear. If you want to see the Doge's Palace from Venice, the Florentine Palazzo Vecchio, the Bruges waterfront, Neuschwanstein Castle, the Spasskaya Tower and the Kremlin Wall, all in one place, come to Yoshkar-Ola. Markelov transformed the city like Peter the Great. Many unusual monuments appeared, including those of Rembrandt, Grace Kelly and Prince Rainier, Russian empresses, patriarchs, literary classics, and Lorenzo de' Medici. Interestingly, the monument to Lorenzo de' Medici bears a striking resemblance to Markelov. Attentive citizens noted that the initials of Lorenzo de' Medici and Leonid Markelov match, and many new buildings like the Ludovico Moro Hotel also share these initials. All the region's financial resources went into Markelov's projects, leaving little for other needs. Roads deteriorated and citizens and journalists protested the misallocation of funds. But Markelov was unyielding, silencing critics with his control over the courts. Markelov's reality grew more distorted. He imagined himself a nobleman and acquired a family coat of arms and other feudal attributes. He often recited his own poetry at meetings and posed in medieval attire. His family became successful businessmen and owned elite real estate. He lived in luxurious residence by the pristine Lake Karas, while guards shouted at villains who dared swim too close. Despite public dissatisfaction, Markelov continued his plans constructing churches and claiming that the revival of Orthodoxy in Russia would begin in the Republic of Mariel. He even received medals from the Russian Orthodox Church. Then came his downfall. Markelov was caught accepting a 235 million ruble bribe, almost $8 million at that time. He was transported to the Lefortovo detention center, where the transition from his palace to a small cell was a shock. He even complained about the lack of underwear. The prosecutor's office demanded the return of 120 real estate properties, including palaces built in the European Renaissance style, and 16 luxury cars. Markelov was sentenced to 13 years in prison by the same court that once protected him. Markelov's career as one of the Russia's most unusual regional leaders ended. His misfortune was being a regional dictator, dependent on Moscow. Otherwise, he might have become a real king. The world might have seen another Peter the Great or Turkmenbashi. Outside the city center, little has changed. Courtyards remain as they were in my childhood.
Сейчас догоню.
I visited my old school, where a monument to Lenin still stands. In the early days after the USSR's collapse, someone pushed it off its pedestal. I visited the university where I studied, now filled with students from India. It felt like a different country. I stopped a group of students from Mumbai who said it was tough studying in Russia initially, but they managed. Ironically, Markelov's creations have become tourist attractions. The city now bustles with tourists, souvenir shops and cafes. Despite being considered crazy by residents, Markelov made the city attractive to tourists, creating jobs and stimulating a construction boom. The storefront created by Markelov began to attract residents from other settlements. The city's population began to grow, and it started to look better than other similar Russian cities. Markelov will be remembered forever. Decades will pass, and while the dictatorship and bad roads will be forgotten, his buildings will remain, reminding people of his rule. He was a leader with oddities, who took bribes, but he left a lasting legacy. This is the paradox of Leonid Markelov.